Hey, we are going live with Makena today for an interview to talk about her experience of life with EDS and POTS and functional neurologic disorder. She's been through a lot and she is an amazing woman. So I'm so excited for you to meet her. I'm going to actually get this going here. And as we get started, by the way, my name is Julie Hirschberg. I'm a neurologic physical therapist and the owner and founder of Reactive Therapy and Wellness in the Los Angeles area. Have the great privilege to be able to chat with the people that come and meet us at Reactive and do a program. And Makena is one of join, which always takes me a moment. And once we get in, you get to meet her. Yay!
Hi.
Hi, Makena. Oh my gosh. Look what I'm wearing first.
I know, we match.
We're matching. I had to wear this, even though it's hotter than hot here today and I don't have air conditioning. But it's my most beloved pie bakery shirt. And you have to share with people the story, like how, because I think it shows your creativity. I cherish it so much.
Oh, thank you.
So tell people about the pie, and then on the back it's the bakery. Tell people a little bit about you.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about the shirt first, and then we'll get into me later. But so the shirt, I just really wanted to have something to give to my team to, I don't know, show them some part of the gratitude that I felt, because I don't think I can ever really truly express like how grateful I am for you and for my team at Reactive. But I was like, I want to give them something that's unique and special, and that they're all going to, I don't know, remember and enjoy, I guess. And I think one of the things that impacted me the most about the program was how I felt seen as a whole person and not just as this symptom or this one diagnosis. I was really taken and seen as a whole person, not just even as a whole diagnosis, but like as who I am outside of my illness as well. And so on the shirt it says more than just one slice, so more than just one part of the pie. And then on the back it has Julie's Bakery, and I don't remember what else I put on there.
Oh no, no. I can't see it. It's like Fresh Pies Daily or something.
Yeah, Fresh Pie. Oh yeah, Fresh Pie Charts Daily.
Yes,
because everyone gets their own pie chart, and the program is super individualized to each person, and I really, really loved that about Reactive. I know Harrison's shirt has Harrison of the Month on the back. He thought that I should have put it on everybody's shirt, but I made it special just for him. But yeah, so that's about the shirt. And then a little bit about me. I started having struggles with my health it's been almost 12 years ago. That feels like a long time to say that. I started experiencing symptoms when I was 15. It started with pain in my left shoulder. It progressed throughout my whole body. And that same year I was diagnosed with CPRS. And then from there, I received treatment at a lot of different places and had a lot of different experiences. Some were good and some were really hard. And from there, I mean, I've been living my life since those diagnoses. I've got a lot of other incorrect diagnoses before. And just recently, I was diagnosed with EDS and POTS as well, on top of the FND and the CRPS. And then on top of that, I have some other health challenges as well. But it was really nice to come to Reactive and to be able to put all of those pieces of the pie together, because when you're seeing a care provider, usually they're only looking at one of those. And so it was really refreshing to be able to focus on myself as a whole person, not just on one slice.
Not just one slice. Yes. So we come full circle to the shirts, which is also part of you. You're very creative, very artistic. I'm like just so impressed by you. And so you shared some of your health journey, which I think will resonate with a lot of people who end up discovering many of the diagnoses with lots of acronyms
Yeah.
that are sometimes interrelated or contributing to each other in some ways. They don't equal each other, but they contribute.
Right.
What was life like before you came out to see us? Working, I know you have many roles in your life. And so maybe share a little bit about what life was like before.
Yeah. So life was very up and down. I had a lot of really high highs and a lot of really low lows. I I think it was 3 or 4 years after, I think it was like 4 years after my diagnosis, I got married. And then a couple of years after that, we had our first kid. And then very soon after that, we had our second. So I have 2 kids. I'm a mom. I really enjoy creating. I had a business painting shoes. It started right around the time my daughter was born. And uh, that was my life. I tried to juggle health in between doing all of the things that I wanted to. I like to think of myself as a very tenacious person. I'm not going to let anything get in the way of what I want to do. And so it was just the daily grind of trying to keep myself and 2 kids alive and work on the things that I wanted to work on. And last year, I had, it was a really scary and really hard year. I've had some really scary and really hard times before, but I don't think that I had ever experienced a change in my health like I did last year. I wasn't able to take care of my kids. I wasn't able to take care of myself. I couldn't work on my creative pursuits anymore. I stopped running my business, and that was really hard. I felt like I had kind of lost all of those parts of myself. I had lost the ability to take care of my kids, so I didn't really feel like a mom anymore. I had lost the ability to create. I've always been a creative person, and I wasn't able to do that anymore. And I just felt like I kept losing these pieces of myself, and I didn't feel like I knew who I was amidst this really, really hard time with my illness. And then things got a little better, as they usually do. They ebb and flow. I recovered to the point where I was able to take care of the kids again. Um, and then back in January of this year, it hit pretty hard again. Not as hard as it did last year, but it hit me pretty hard. And it's always difficult. It's always so hard to have that like emotional whiplash of being good and then having it taken away from you time and time again, and just have to keep getting back up. And like, I didn't want to keep getting back up. Like, I was done. um, and it was like the perfect timing finding Reactive. I happened upon one of your like FND myth posts back in February, I think. And I was like, wait a minute, do people actually think like this? and I started following you on Instagram, and I was very secretive about it at that time. I did not want anyone to know that I was looking into other options and like looking into just, I don't know, other treatments, I guess. Because at this point we had kind of just, this is life and this is kind of the way we have to live. It was a really scary thing to entertain the fact that I might be considering pursuing something else. So I was very secretive about it. I was stuck in bed at this point, and I remember going back and like watching all of the lives and going back and watching all of the posts and reading all of the posts and not telling anybody about it. And I finally got up the courage to send a post to my husband, Brennan. And I didn't even say anything. I just sent it to him. And that night he came home and he was like, I looked at Reactive and like, it really looks like they think differently about these things. I think it's something we should look into. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was just sharing this with you. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that this is anything that I want to pursue right now. And he's like, just do the free consultation. And I did, and ended up going, and it was the hardest decision I had ever had to make, but it was, I think, the biggest risk for the biggest payoff, I guess.
Yeah, a big decision because you don't live next door to Reactive either. No. You had to come on a little trip to work with us. And how long were you out here too?
I was out for 6 weeks, yeah. So that's a long time to be away from home. We have a really great community around us, and it was really scary to leave them behind, like uproot our family. My husband came with, my kids came with, and just kind of like take everyone and relocate. And then I was on my own for the last 2 weeks. And that was another experience in of itself as well, because I'm not usually alone. But I think that the entire experience of having that with my family, and then also having that experience on my own really helped me know how capable I am. And that was a really cool experience to have.
Yeah, that's huge. And so you talked a lot about this up and down journey before you came, and how long have you been? I feel like I just saw you yesterday with this shirt, but I know you've been home for a little while. How long have you been home?
I think it's almost been a month. Okay. It's crazy to say that. It feels like yesterday that I was there.
Yeah. No, it really does. It feels like that to me. And what are some of the things that you have noticed a change in since you did the program?
Honestly, I think the biggest change that I've seen and that others have seen in me is the return of my hope, I guess. I had so many people comment of like, oh, you have the light back in your eyes, like you seem like a different person because of that hope that I had restored in like in my capabilities, in my future. And things aren't perfect right now, and I'm still working on things, but I still have that hope for the future that I didn't have before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's massive, to keep going.
Yeah.
And I know you learned a lot. I mean, I was there when you were in a session with Emily and Harrison. You learned a lot about yourself, your brain, your body. What are some of maybe your favorite things from the therapy process and the different people you worked with?
Oh boy. long list. I really loved it that they tried to incorporate my support system when they were there. They incorporated the kids into like games and therapy, which is something I had never experienced in any treatment before. Like I've never had that before. I also loved the playful aspect behind things. I I remember there was one session where Harrison and I were competing, doing like a Blaze Pod game or something, and we played like 9 rounds and he only won once. So just like bringing out that competitive side of me as well was really fun, because I'm a competitive person and I like to win. So that was awesome motivation for me. And then I think something that I was really scared coming into the program was that supports were going to be discouraged. I've experienced that a lot in the past, that supports were going to make my symptoms worse. And it actually surprised me how much supports were used and encouraged in the program. Even like times when I personally didn't want to use them, I had an awesome team behind me being like, okay, is it okay if we use this support right now? I really recommend it. Just to have that validation in using supports and that they are helpful, because I've found through my own trial and error that supports are helpful for me. But to have a team behind me that was encouraging me to use those things that I had learned on my own and then giving me new supports was like life-changing. And then I can't mention my favorite things in therapy without mentioning the dogs. I got to hold Larry for like an entire session, one of the Fridays that he was there. And then Emily brought Nike in for me. I think it was my last week that I was there, and those are like some of the biggest highlights in my program. I love dogs, so that was awesome.
You have the cutest dog too. Let's just say that.
She's a stinker, but we love her.
So cute. So cute. And gosh, you mentioned so many fun things that were like very specific to you too. And I'm curious now, what are some of, like, how are you using those, and what are some of the things that you're getting back to since you got home from the program?
Yeah, I've actually gotten back into running my business, which is something that I honestly thought that I had just, it's something that had come and passed, and like that was a part of my life, but it was something that was not going to happen again. And that has been amazing. I have really enjoyed getting back into that. And I think that a lot of things that I learned in the program have, I don't know, it's completely changed the way that I live day to day. Like I'm doing the same things, but I'm not doing any of them in the same way. For example, like if I'm painting, I'm sitting supported, and I usually sit with like a lap weight on. I Depending on the day, maybe I have a lot of my external supports on, like my binder or my neck collar, and those are really helpful. I really enjoy sitting on an exercise ball while I'm unloading my dishes, so I don't have to bend over. And then like I can rock and bounce, and that's regulating for my nervous system. And there are just all of these little things that I've been able to incorporate into my daily activities that just completely has changed everything.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I'm getting this vision of you unloading the dishes on the ball, and I'm like, I need to do this.
It
It
is
sounds so much
wonderful.
fun.
I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it. It's low enough to like be able to put stuff away, not have to bend over. It's great. I don't think I will ever unload dishes a different way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you talk, I just have to say, this is like our public service announcement from me and you to the world of clinicians, is supports are helpful and they're not contraindicated. And particularly if somebody has hypermobility in POTS, you need them. You need them to function and to support your body and to give sensory input. And they are the difference sometimes between making it through the day and not making it through the day. So there is this old school thought, I was taught it as well, that if you see these unusual symptoms, like don't give them a cane or don't give them any sport. And that is a myth, and get rid of it, erase it from your mind. Like, you are living proof that, and you're not the only one, right? This is everywhere, that supports can really make or break a person's day. And it's not about becoming reliant on them. It's about actually being able to do the things you love.
Yes, all of that.
So I'm just repeating your public service announcement for all of our fellow clinicians on here, and for other folks who maybe have some of these conditions, to really advocate for that. And I'll keep yelling it from the mountaintop.
Thank you. We need to hear it.
Yeah, so you are back working, which we should mention. It is called, I know it has a lemon in it.
Kiss Customs.
Yes, Lemon Kiss Customs. So you should follow Makena, because she does these gorgeous custom shoe designs. I mean, this is like when I looked at your page, Makena, I was like, holy cow, she's so talented, and it's just really beautiful. So you're back to work. You've got things in place to make work easier, life things easier. And you're back to being a mom too.
Yeah.
Tell me about mom life.
It's awesome. I am really, really glad that my kids were able to come and be a part of my program. It's my 4-year-old is really, really funny. She notices everything. And so there have been a couple times where maybe like I'm struggling a little bit, and either I don't notice it or like I'm ignoring it, and she'll be like, Mom, you really need to put on your binder, or Mom, I think you really need to sit down. So like sometimes it's helpful to have that outside reminder, and I'm glad that they were able to come be a part of that, because they're a huge part of my life, and I am around them all the time, and I love them a lot. And I think it was very helpful and healing for them to see that I am capable, and that that I'm able to take care of them, and that I have the tools I need to be the best mom that I can be. And I'm really grateful that I have those things now.
Incredible. That the mom in me is trying to keep it together right now, Makena, but especially that they like learned, mom, your binder. Like they can get therapy and learned these things. I'm just like in awe. They're smart kiddos.
Yeah.
Now, I love that you shared that it was a scary thing to do this, to come out of state to do this. What would you, and I think it's really scary, like that is an absolute fact.
Yeah.
What would you tell somebody else who's maybe in your position and they're on the fence or uncertain about this?
I would say to trust your intuition. Sometimes it's going to tell you to do things that your mind thinks are really, really scary, and that from past experience makes sense why they're really, really scary. But if that little voice in your head is telling you to that you benefit from something like this, then go for it, and it's okay to do it scared. And if you have had traumatic medical experiences, that I want you to know that there really are good, caring providers out there, and that you don't have to go through your journey alone.
Yeah, that means a lot, I think. It really does. And in a similar, you mentioned one of the biggest things. I mean, obviously you're back to doing a lot of things, but you mentioned hope as one of the biggest pieces. And I know because I talk to folks pretty much every day that have been struggling through many years like you of chronic illness, and it can be very, very hard to have any hope. They feel discouraged, or like you said, they've had some really traumatic medical experiences. And what might you tell somebody who kind of is in that spot where they're really discouraged, that maybe they can't get better, or that things can't get better?
I can definitely relate to that. I feel like before I came to Reactive, I had been in that discouragement so long that I didn't even recognize it was there anymore. Like I had built this box of protection around myself and given myself these limitations of like what I could and couldn't do, that it just became my reality. And I didn't even realize that it was there. And I think that if you are in that same place, that having a team of people that believe you and believe in you is like life changing. And it was to the point where I got to Reactive and I didn't even want to make goals because I felt like I was happy where I was at. Like when I got there, I was at my baseline, my good baseline. I felt like I was doing well. Like I could take care of my kids and I could do most of the things that I thought were important to me. But as we started to kind of explore things more, I realized that there are all of these things that I had been limiting myself in and that I didn't think I could do. And I I didn't even realize that that it was something that I wanted. I hadn't allowed myself to want it because I didn't think that it was going to be possible. Um, but but through the treatment and through the belief of the team, and the restoration of my hope, like I feel like I can thrive with my disability even if things aren't going to be perfect. Like I can pursue the things that I want to and have these goals, even if things don't go away.
Yeah. Wow, that is a major message of hope, and gives me chills. These are real chills because it is hotter than heck in my room, and I just think I feel so lucky. You're such a beautiful soul, Makena, and I keep thinking about this pie, and I'm just like, how lucky are we to know the whole you, too. Um, to know more than your neck or your shoulder or your elbow or your knees, but to really know you. I feel so thankful myself, and for you sharing that too. And I always like to ask people to share a message too for other clinicians. You've already shared a lot of nuggets with them, but I wonder if you have other things that you might share, because I think we learn the most from you.
And I love that, because I don't think that's the norm. Uh, and the one thought that I had kind of goes along with that, was to start by understanding your patient instead of trying to get them to understand you. I had a lot of experiences where it felt like it was this back and forth of just like my provider was trying to get me to understand these things, and I I understood them, but I wasn't feeling understood. And I walked away with them probably feeling like I wasn't hearing them and I wasn't listening, and I wasn't believing the advice that they were giving. But what I really needed was for them to understand and believe me. And I think just coming into things with an open mind, really trying to understand instead of convince, I guess. There's been a lot of trying to convince and persuade, but I think the best work happens when there's understanding.
You just wrote the book on how to be a clinician. I know our PT students go through 3 years of training and all these internships, but literally, if they could just do that, they would be set up for so much success to really, truly help people where they most need it. And so I love, love, love that you shared that. I even started to try to type. I'm not super coordinated while I'm not looking, but because I was like, I need to write these words down. We're going to put them in a book. Yeah. And oh, Miss Danny is with us right now, and she said that was beautifully said. It really, truly was. It really was, Makena, and you have shared so much wisdom. And I not only do I get to wear this shirt, but I just feel like I get to kind of wear you on my heart, which it is literally on my heart. But just the things that you've shared, and the things that you're doing right now, I think it's so incredible. And yeah, someone else is sharing too in the chat. That's one thing I remember from school. Listen to your patient. Yes, unfortunately, be witnessing doctors not listening. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I went into PT and didn't become a physician, because I saw how part of it is having time, right, to spend with people. And I think Some clinicians just get more time.
Yeah.
So I feel like our team is so lucky to have had the time with you. And I saw, I think maybe it was your husband shared in the chat, the Lemon Kiss. It's lemonkiss.custom. So if you see it in the chat, somebody else shared her artwork is fabulous. It really is. So people should follow you, Makena, and just also just cheer you on. We're going to be cheering you on. You know that.
Yeah. I do.
Every step of the way. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us too. I know it's a lot. It's very vulnerable too. So just appreciate you sharing the story to help more people and help clinicians too.
Yeah, and thank you for being a part of my story. It definitely, my story would not have ended up the same without Reactive in it. And I can honestly say that I'm better off for it. I don't know that I could have convinced myself of that before I came, but I will be forever grateful.
Yeah, us us too. And Beth, who is with us a while ago too, she says, keep going, Makena. So there's also a whole community kind of behind you here, Makena. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear what's next for you too.
Yeah.
All right. Take care,
Thank
Makena.
you.
Bye.
Bye.